What's up, fam? Today I'm gonna go over self-awareness with you and why it's important. This is really important to me because learning how to be more aware of myself really helped me do things that I wanted to and not because I felt like I had to do them, especially whenever it came down to hanging out with friends. I was able to depict how I wanted my environment to be around me because I knew what I was comfortable with and what I wasn't comfortable with, and I wouldn't have known that if I wasn't aware of like how I was feeling at that moment in time, you know. And if I didn't know, I would take a step back to just kind of check myself before I wrecked myself, you know. So being self-aware, first of all, if you're watching this, more than likely, I would have to assume you're like in questioning of yourself, you know, or, you know, just curious as to what my opinion is on it. But, you know, for somebody to even be curious about being aware of themselves more, like wanting to help themselves in a more positive way, like you're only striving for better in your life. So just to let you know, like I'm only speaking from what worked for me. And I always encourage you to do your own research. So like today, before I started talking, I made sure to kind of like look up a couple things. For instance, like I already Googled what is self-awareness, and I'll put a screenshot up so you guys can kind of check that out. And the definition, you know, that I found makes a lot of sense, you know. We are then empowered to make changes and to build on our own areas of strength as well as identify areas where we would like to make improvements. You know, and that's exactly what being aware of yourself is all about. You know, like you want to be able to be confident in your own decisions and not have to be so reliant on people. I know that was a really big motivator for me whenever I would find myself going to my friends and my family more about what should I do about this? What should I do about that? Why can't I like stop thinking about it? I don't know what to do for it myself, you know? And the moment I found myself getting more frustrated than anything about, man, why can't I just do it? You know, like my friends are giving me good advice and everything, but it's not me, you know? And once I started doing these few practices that I'm about to tell you guys about, I felt a lot more fulfilled making the decisions that I was doing in my life, no matter how crazy or how average, normal they were. You know, I knew I was doing everything in my day for me, or, you know, to my liking. And if I didn't like something, people would know, and it not in like a bad way. It'd be more of like I was able to vocalize, I don't feel comfortable doing this, but if I gotta do it, I'm gonna do it. Or, you know, I'm not sure if this is the best decision, but I'll help you with it. And I was aware of that. I knew, you know, my tolerance, you know, per se. And so with that being said, I believe, you know, to kind of add on my thoughts to this definition, I believe self-awareness really has to do with being aware of your emotions in the moment. You know, that the more self-aware you are is probably gauged, is, in my opinion, more so gauged in accordance to how aware you are of your emotions in that moment. If you don't realize you were upset in that moment until like a couple days after you kind of cooled down from whatever situation you were in, you know, like you could probably work on your self-awareness right there a little bit more. Because if you were able to, you know, maybe catch yourself before you got to that point, you know, because you may have said some things that you didn't really want to say because you were upset, but you just didn't feel yourself reaching that boiling point, you know? So you need to like work on being able to process that before, you know, you burn a bridge that you actually may need to cross still. Like you may need that bridge, you know? So be more aware of your emotions in the moment, I think, is being self-aware. Also, I think knowing why you agree with something or disagree. You have your opinions. And you don't just say something and just to say it, like, you know why you said what you said. You know, whether it come from assumption, whether it come from experience, whether it come from research, you know why you don't like to buy products from this store. You know why you don't support this one actor. You know why you're an advocate for healthy living. You know what that means to you. And you like either got stories to back it up, or, you know, like I said, experience, research, and assumption's not bad. You know, life sometimes is based off of putting two and two together. Not because you haven't went through something doesn't mean that you can't speak on it. You ain't gonna sound stupid, especially if you frame it that way. Just be open to somebody who has actually been through it and not, you know, assume and say that's the end all be all. Then that's when you look a little like, come on now. You ain't never been through it. You can't tell me how to make $1 million unless you made a mill. You know, like, just, you can assume this is how you would make $1 million. But if you're talking to somebody who definitely has made $1 million and they're telling you, you know, this is how you do it, this is what worked for me, be a little bit more open to it. Don't just say that's it. No matter, you know, and that could even kind of go for the research portion as well. Like, if you haven't actually went through that experience, I would say maybe hold back on being like, no, this is right, you know, and this, I will not take any other opinion on that. I think that, that kind of pigeonholes you or puts you in a corner, you know, like, really listen to what everybody has to say. And if, you know, you still feel the same way that you did before, all right. Ain't nobody mad at you. You know, that's just how it is. So yeah, knowing why you disagree with something or you agree, is being more self-aware. Also, yeah, knowing, like, if you, to go along with that, knowing if you're not sure about something. You know, there's nothing wrong with saying, I haven't even thought about that before. I'll have to get back to you. Or, you know what, I didn't even think to add that in the PowerPoint. I'll have to get back to you on that. There is nothing wrong with that. My dad always told me a good run is better than a bad fall. And, you know, I'm not sure if anybody else's parents are, you know, important in their life that you looked up to has said that to you. But, you know, that just means, like, it's better to just stop before you get ahead of yourself. Like, don't stretch yourself to impress someone. You know, just be able to call it, especially if you're that aware of yourself, be able to call it and just be like, yo, I don't know, but I'll look into it. Or, you know what, I don't know, and that's cool, that's something you're into, but I'm not really into it. I'm not gonna look into it more. Like, thanks for the information, thank you, but I'm gonna go over here. Like, it's not even that deep. So don't be trying to impress somebody. If you're more aware of yourself, this kind of goes into my next point. What I believe being more self-aware is understanding your values. And, you know, whenever you understand what you value most in life, your integrity falls in place more, your confidence falls in place more, your opinions come to you more efficiently, I feel. It was a learning curve for me, and this was a daily thing. Being aware of yourself is a definite not gonna happen overnight deal. Not gonna happen overnight. It is a practice you need to apply to your day, like daily. Like, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, you need to just make sure you monitor yourself. Cat Williams has a really cool phrase that he said in one of his stand-ups, which was, stay in tune with your star player. Like, you need to, like, look at yourself in the mirror, or just, like, you know, kind of do a self-check and just be like, homie, you good? Are you okay? Are you good? Are you fine? How are you doing? Like, really, that's how you stay in tune with yourself, and that's how you become even more aware. If you keep that practice in mind of like, how are you? Like, how do you feel about this? Are you all right? Do you need to actually go home tonight and rest instead of going out with your friends? How's your body feeling? You know, like, I'm a huge advocate for living a healthy lifestyle, me personally. So that's how I really stayed in tune with my star player. I had to make sure, like, you know what, Michelle, you have been hustling nonstop. I don't even think you stopped to smell the roses for the past 2 weeks. You might need to take a second. When's the last time you saw your parents? When's the last time you spoke to your sister? What about your best friend? Is she okay? You know, like, that. It's my values, like all those questions that I just spewed out for myself came really from my values, because I value my family and my friends. Those are the most important things to me. So I stay in tune with my star player to make sure, you know, that I am still doing the things that fulfill me, the things that I want to do every day, you know. And that all comes from being self-aware. Now, how to learn your own values, that sincerely comes from what makes you happy. You know, and I think happiness, and I'm gonna have to make another video about like how to be happy, like what I did to be really happy, or be able to enjoy my environment, no matter what happened, just to have that glass half full perspective. But your values, I believe, you know, they come into play whenever you really know what makes you happy. You know what you stand for. You have, like, I believe in better or for worse. Not so much right and wrong. Like, blurred lines to me, there's always a gray area. You know, like, nothing's ever right or wrong in this world. Everything's either better or worse. And that just comes from, you know, I meet a lot of people. I see a lot of things, you know. But maybe your world, your universe involves a lot more black and white things. Like, I couldn't imagine being a lawyer, you know. Like, you really have to be bold in knowing this is right and this is wrong, and this is why, and you can't change my mind on it. Like, that is like a profession, you know. And fighting for somebody's case, like that, like there are certain moments where you have to be a lot more stern, of course. And ethics plays into a lot of that. Like, you know, figuring out your values is all up to you. And what worked for me was just chasing my happiness, figuring out what made me happy, and that's what I learned. That's where I learned what my values were. So being more aware of yourself is being able to know your emotions when you feel them, being able to, you know why you like something or agree or disagree with something, and then also owning up to your values, knowing your values. That is being self-aware. You know, all of that, once you become more self-aware, like, you can look forward to, at least what I learned after I realized, like, oh, I don't have to go to my friends and my family to figure out what I need to do with my boss because I didn't agree with what they said to me, or how they moved my position to a different department. Like, I didn't have to go there because I knew what I stood by and I knew how to express myself appropriately. So I gained a lot more confidence in my own decisions, and there was less second guessing, so less of the head spinning, you know, like feeling like I want to rip my braids out. Like, I wasn't as confused as I used to be. And it was such a relief, because the peace of mind that I had throughout my days after I had kind of realized how much more aware I was of myself, you know, I was able to have like an increase in mind capacity for something else, you know. So you can look forward to, you know, just having that confidence, having that headspace to think of something else. You know, your life shouldn't be on a revolving window of anxiousness or confusion. You know, like you really, there's a practice to that, and it all goes with, I believe, growing up, especially, and then also I think being more self-aware. You really need to pay attention to practicing how aware you are, or checking yourself to make sure you're still as aware of yourself as you can be, especially whenever life just throws you a curveball and things change on you. You know, it dramatically, especially. You really need to check, stay in tune with your star player, make sure you're okay. You know, and some emotions may not hit you until after a situation has already been happened for like a while, and you didn't realize maybe that you pushed it in the back of your mind because you had to go to work. You can't stop your day because so-and-so had to move across the country, and now they're out of your life. You can't see them every day like you were seeing them. Like, that's not, you can't just say, I'm moving to Alaska too. Like, no, you're running like a firm, you know, you're running a restaurant. You can't just leave your family because this one person you used to see every day had an emergency come up or a crazy life change, and it caused you to change like the way you thought. You know, you got comfortable and now like you're a little shook and stuff. So I know it's a very vague example, but if you follow what I'm saying, hopefully that kind of helps you realize, like, you know, the important points in your life where you should just check in with yourself, not only daily, but like just to be more on top of it, you know, to be aware, and so that you just make sure you can still process yourself, think efficiently, have that peace of mind, so just in case something else happens, like you got a handle on it. You got this. You got that confidence up, and you're okay. So yeah, you can also look forward to, once you're more self-aware, like you're really gonna enjoy everything you do a lot more. You're gonna really feel fulfilled, like, because you're gonna know, like, this is really making me happy. Like, this is like, I can really appreciate me being on this vacation right now. I can really appreciate me being able to make it to work on time. Like, I can really appreciate being able to pay my bills on time. Like, you're gonna understand, like, you know, you put your best foot forward and really enjoy, like, you know, yourself for what you've done, because you did it. You know, it's really being self-aware, like, it's a really good characteristic to have in regard to that. Let's see. So to kind of wrap this all up, what I did to get more self-aware was I started to self-reflect, and I'm a writer, so I write a lot, just like my thoughts for the day. No like crazy writer's prompt. Like, if something bothered me, I just made sure to write it out, or I would talk to somebody about it, just to vent, you know, like not really looking for advice. It was just more of like this is how I feel today, you know, like just kind of journal it out. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's not embarrassing. It's not weird. It's not like, call it a diary if you want. This is serious. Like, you need to be aware of yourself. You need to be able to understand yourself so you can make those good decisions for yourself, and you're only gonna bless you. You're not gonna like hurt yourself by writing. You're not gonna hurt yourself by sitting on your porch in the morning, every morning or every night, and just kind of reflecting on your day, seeing how you felt about little things. If anything bothered you, if anything made you super happy, or, you know, if you felt like you did really good on something. You know, you need to be able to write out the positives and the negatives, you know, recognize the neutrals, see what's up. And then another thing that I did was I was open to other people's perspectives. By that I mean, like, I love to discuss things with people, even whenever I really have no opinion on it. Like, I love to listen. And the only reason, like, I love to listen is because I like to see how I feel about it too. And that was a nice practice to have. So, like, say I was just walking around a store and just ended up getting in a conversation with a random stranger. He would just tell me, like, a silly story about, you know, his family, and would just carry on with his day, or carry on with our days. Like, did that story make me laugh, or did that story like make me sad, or was I like, why is this guy talking to me, you know, like, and why was I like that? Like, just be open to other people, and in that way you can really figure out how you are with others and who you are. Because if people are rubbing you like that and you're like, why is this person talking to me, like, I know they were being friendly, but like, ow. Then you just don't like to fuck with nobody. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Or say you're like, oh my gosh, that was the funniest story ever, I have to tell like my best friend about it right now. Or, oh man, I'm gonna keep that in my pocket, that was a nice story that maybe I can tell my kids one day. You know, like, that just, you're gonna show yourself a lot more by just recognizing how you feel about others. You know, like, others will tell you how you are, you know, and how they treat you, how they approach you. But also, like, for you to be more aware of yourself, to see how you react to others is gonna pay it forward. Like, you're just gonna really be able to, that's gonna be how you really figure out how you agree or disagree with something. Now, also, this is the biggest point I'll make about being more aware of yourself. I say one of the best things that helped me figure out who I was following my gut. Just going with my intuition. And what my gut feeling to me, I describe it to people as a tightening feeling. Sorry, my cats are making a noise. I describe it as like a tightening feeling in my stomach, you know, like something feels wrong, like kind of, like I get that kind of feeling. You know, don't do that. Don't do it. Or you can do it and see why you probably shouldn't have done it, you know, if it's not so obvious. Or if you have that first thought, go with your first thought. Like, if it's a go, like if it's a green light, go with it. If you see a red light, don't go. Or if you see a yellow light, like, just proceed with caution. You know, like, that's your intuition talking. You need to be aware of that, and that's probably going to be your best bet to really getting to know yourself, because that's how you're going to learn how to listen to yourself, because you're not always going to have someone on speed dial. You know, if push comes to shove, you're going to really have to figure out your own way. You know, what are going to be your best decisions, and how do you know you're making the best decision for yourself without having to ask somebody for you? Hey! They're playing. I think I don't understand cats sometimes. Anyway, yeah. So really, go throughout your day and just see what gives you that, or feel the opposite, which is what makes you feel that zeal, like that fresh air, like that, or like you can breathe, like that's okay, you know, like that gut feeling, like pay attention to that, follow your intuition. So with that being said, guys, that I will leave you on that note. That's how you can be more self-aware, and why it's important to be self-aware, and you can do it. You gotta do it. You should really try it. I mean, like, it worked for me, so I mean, like, if you want to be more self-aware, you can do it. You can try it. Let me know if it works. Comment in the comments below if you guys have any other ways of being more self-aware. Also, don't forget, I have a t-shirt shop with all the affirmations written on them. I encourage you just to even look through the shop just to read what I have on the t-shirts. It's just all positive shit. I only do this kind of stuff to make sure you guys are inspired and motivated. So with that being said, really, like, let's talk about it. How do you guys stay self-aware, or how do you know you're self-aware, or do you have any other things that you do to try and be more self-aware? Yeah, so you guys enjoy your days, and I'll check you later. Take care.